Hello everyone, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you're hearing my voice, you are in the right place. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a very special reading. Try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, everyone, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And today we're starting with the Princess of Pentacles. This is a card of new beginnings, okay? This is the card of like moving into that season where we've got to start planting something. We've got to start putting ideas into the ground because there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of life that can be born here, but we've got to start doing things to make that, to kick that process off, to get things started. You know what I mean? And, this is about the first steps, those new beginnings, planting seeds now for something that's going to become a larger path later, or a larger harvest, or that's going to be transformed into, well, what does the Princess of Pentacles transform into? The Empress, right? A larger harvest. We've got to start planting those seeds now. If we don't plant seeds in the springtime, come autumn, we're not going to have nothing to eat. Okay, so that's what this card is. It's kind of like right now there's not enough of something. Right now there's just there's just a forest. There's just raw materials. There's a lot of potential here, but nothing's growing. The verdant energy isn't here. We've got to start doing that work now so that we can reap those rewards when we really need them. And it may be a time of abundance for you right now. So in a time of abundance, we usually think, all right, I don't need to do anything. I got abundance now. You got to start planting seeds when you already have enough of something. You don't wait till you run out before you say, uh-oh, I didn't plant any tomatoes this year. I didn't plant any apple trees, So I feel like this is, and this is a different reading for us today. This is our collective reading. I've asked people in a community post to submit their questions. Okay, so I've selected a few questions at random from the comments, and I'm going to be answering those questions. And hopefully, you all can apply the answers and the cards we get to your life and to your questions while I answer the specific questions from our listeners and our audience. Yeah. But we're going to use this card as our anchor, okay? And as a matter of fact, there we go. Sorry. I had to put the screen on so I can see the questions that I'm going to be answering. I think that makes sense. We're going to use this card as our anchor for today, okay? And we're just going to go through a few questions and see if we can provide some answers. So the first question that I have is from Lady Resource. And Lady Resource wants to know, is it worth it for me to devote more years into working on a podcast? Okay. More years to working on a podcast. Three of Wands. Okay. Well, the Three of Wands to me is a card of virtue. So I think the first question is we have to ask, like, if this is really, is this something that aligns with our values? Okay. Do we believe in the purpose of this? And does it speak to who we are? Okay. Is a card of confidence. This is a card that's really like, it's promising an opening. So it's kind of like Spirit saying that, yeah, this really could be a lucrative thing for you, but you've got to stay true to yourself. You've got to be behaving in a way that your future self will admire. Okay? You got to be able to say no to temptations. And you've got to be confident enough to reach out, to expand your efforts. Do you need to send some emails? Do you need to apply for things? Do you need to reach out to people, explore other things? Okay? You got to be willing to do just about anything as long as it's legal and ethical, right? In order to make it work. Okay? You've got to show up consistently. Reliability is kind of like the number one virtue. Okay? Patience isn't a virtue. Virtue is a virtue. You know, showing up and doing the right thing even when it's difficult, that's the virtue. And so this is kind of like, you know, we've got to ask ourselves that question, am I ready to do that? You know, because it's character. Your character is built up when your behaviors line up with your values. If you can move like someone who honors themselves and respects this path, the world is going to adjust. So we've got to have that confidence that we can continue to expand and grow. And in a way, if your enthusiasm is there, then this will work for you. Especially when we apply this Three of Wands to our Princess of Pentacles. Then it really is like, yeah, there is a lot of potential in a podcast for you. But it's up to you if you have that energy to give to it. Okay, we're going to do a couple more cards here. We have a Knight of Swords. There needs to be a commitment. There needs to be a leadership. Okay, this is about your kind of hesitating. And it's obvious because you're asking the question. So it tells me that you're kind of unsure if you should keep going. Because you're saying devote more years. So I feel like you've already devoted some. Now is the question like, should I keep going? I don't know if it's a matter of should, but a matter of do you want to? And do you have a game plan? And can you keep going? Okay? So when we're thinking of that motion, that forward movement, right? Thinking of the actions that we need to take, do we have the resources to do it? Do you have time in your day? What would you have to rearrange in order to devote more years to working on the podcast? Okay? You can't keep working on the podcast if we're not earning money and we're not able to keep the lights on or pay the bills or eat food. You know what I mean? So we have to find a way to really like make it practically possible. Okay? If you were the clear-headed leader, what would your plan be? What would your course of action be? Okay? This is a chance for you to really be the boss here. Like you're going to have to be like the COO, right? The Chief Operational Officer. And you're going to have to lead. And you're going to have to make clear decisions. You're going to have to think logistically. Think practically. What has to happen in order for you to keep devoting more years to that podcast? But it doesn't matter if we can't solve question 1, then question 2, this part doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? We have the Seven of Swords. So there are doubts in your mind. I kind of wonder if like part of you is thinking that there's easier things to do, or that there are too many options, too many choices. Maybe there's too many naysayers. Maybe there's too many people telling you, no, it's a bad idea. But if you've got this Three of Wands fire in you, screw the other people, screw the haters and the naysayers, you do it anyway. Is this your own mind criticizing you? Okay, whose opinions are these that are telling you can't do it? Because if you're asking me if you should devote more years to doing a podcast, it means that part of you is thinking you shouldn't. So where is that voice coming from? Is it yours? Is it somebody else's voice telling you you shouldn't do it, or telling you you can't? Or giving you their unsolicited advice or their opinions. You know what they say about opinions, right? Everybody's got one, and most of them stink. Well, let's keep going. Let's do a couple more cards here. There's that Lover's card. That's the choice. Again, I think that if you feel it in your heart, in your soul, if you've got this Three of Wands, the Sun in Aries, if you've got that vision that this is what you're meant to do, that you've identified with this, and you can find that enthusiasm and that fire and that confidence and that motivation, you need to choose it. The Lover's card, 1000% yes. This isn't about romance. It's about choice. You know, it's the choice of commitment, and you have to know what you're getting into. You got to know what you're biting off here. You got to have courage to make a choice. Now we have some major arcana in the reading, right? If you're going to make this kind of a commitment, this kind of choice, you got to be willing to go all in. And you got to have the courage. You got to have the confidence. You got to have the creativity, especially to stand up against negative opinions, negative comments, low vibrational people, the haters, the naysayers, and the instigators that are coming in over here. Let's do one more final card here. The Six of Cups, yes. I think that if we solve for all these other energies, you will have this Six of Cups. You will have this bliss, this pleasure. It will feel good. You will get into the flow, and it'll feel good to do this. Now, we didn't talk about money. We didn't talk about whether it's going to be successful. Because if you have all these other energies solved for, if we've addressed all of these energies, well, we already have the potential for great prosperity and harvest up here as our anchor for today's collective reading. So all of this is guaranteeing the harvest, but only if each of these cards are dealt with appropriately. You know what I mean? So I hope that helps to answer that first question. Is it worth it for you to devote more years to your podcast? Well, what would make it worth it? What does worth it mean? Worth it in terms of monetary value, or worth it with that Six of Cups, that it's fun, I enjoy it, it feels good, I feel like I'm in the flow, I feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to do, and it feels, brings me joy, brings me excitement. I think it's probably a mixture of both, that you want to feel good and you want to also earn some money doing it, right? Or that you want to, well, with the Six of Cups too, I feel like it's going to be well received. I think more than a podcast making money, I think you want it to be like well liked. You want to have an audience. You want people to say, hey, I love your show. You know, that feels good. And also getting a paycheck from it feels good. But I don't think you should go into it thinking, oh, this is how I'm going to make money. No, I think like you go into it thinking, I'm going to get to connect with people, and I'm going to get to have fun, and I'm going to get to meet people and interact and make friends and have a good time and learn something new. I think that's the real value that makes it worth it. Okay. Anyway, thank you for your question. And I apologize to anybody whose question I'm not going to get to today. There was a lot of questions. And if this format works, maybe I'll do it for more collective readings where I'll try to get to more and more questions. Maybe we'll try to do it live one day too. I don't know. My wife Lenore's been doing a lot of live streams lately. And she keeps telling me how fun it is and that I should do them. And so maybe I'll listen to her advice and I'll do one pretty soon. Anyway, Janet Buckley 4456 asks, is marriage in the cards for me? Is marriage in the cards for me? Here we have a Prince of Wands. I feel like there's a very independent energy in you. I feel that, I think you're ready for that kind of commitment. You certainly have what it takes to commit to somebody else, because I feel like you're a very strong individual. I feel like you have a good sense of who you are and a good sense of your independence and your individuality. So let's see what else we get here. We get a Queen of Wands, again, with that individuality. The Queen of Wands, very, very independent. The Queen of Wands has really a big presence in the room. Kind of, you are the fire in the room, so to speak. You have a strong presence, okay? And I think that's really good. I think that's definitely marriage material. Two of Cups, then there is love. I think you're looking for somebody that can keep up with you. You're looking for somebody that's equal to you, that maybe has the same kind of ambitions. I feel like you're on the go a lot. I feel like you have a lot of charisma, a lot of charm, a lot of confidence, and magnetism. And I think that you attract people very easily, okay? And I think you walk into the room and it's like you belong there, like you really own your presence. You're the flame in the room, okay? And everybody wants to get close to you. And I think that, maybe that's a little bit of the problem, is that, you attract everybody. And so it makes it difficult for you to know which person is really the right person for you. But I think that you have high standards also. And I think that's a very good thing. The Two of Cups here is love, right? And it is the urge to merge. Now, it doesn't mean that love is entering your life necessarily. It doesn't mean that this is marriage, but it certainly is the potential for that, okay? And it's certainly, this is a relationship that is reciprocating, mutually respectful and uplifting. I think you're trying to find your equal. I think you're going to find somebody who matches your energy in the right way, okay? Somebody that can, keep up with you, I guess, or somebody that can stimulate you, somebody that can encourage you, and perhaps even motivate you to be your best self. Don't go looking for a project, though, okay? Let's do a couple more cards here. Oh, we have a Nine of Cups and an Ace of Wands, and finally a Queen of Cups. Yeah, so marriage is definitely in the cards for you. Do not feel like you need to fix somebody. Don't go looking for a project, even with the Queen of Cups here. Don't go looking for somebody that you need to heal, okay? They should already be pretty much on par with you in terms of their emotional development. You don't need to be anybody's parent. You know what I mean? So I think that, yes, marriage is definitely in the cards for you. Boundaries are going to be very important. Don't just take the first person that comes along that's saying something flattering to you. Hold out for the right person, okay? Definitely needing the boundaries. The Queen of Cups is a lot of emotional wisdom, okay? And I think that you will know when you meet people, trust the first feeling you have. Okay, we got a lot of fire and a lot of water here. In fact, it's equal. It's equal with the fire and the water, okay? So fire and water, of course, makes a very steamy mix, okay? So I think you are going to find somebody with whom you have a spark. Just like that, there's going to be chemistry, okay? If you don't feel it right away, keep looking. Maybe that could still be the person, but you don't have to just focus on that first person. You're going to know when it's the right person. You're going to feel the spark. You're going to feel that chemistry. Again, you might naturally feel drawn to somebody that needs help or needs to be needs to be parented. So be careful of that. Okay, that's very important. Trust your initial feeling, though, because your intuition is really on point. You can be compassionate, you can be open to other people, but have a boundary that you don't have to take on anybody else's issues as your own. You don't have to soak up anybody else's pain, okay? But also, be open and be a little bit vulnerable, but pay attention to the vibe, because vibe is really important for you. Trust your inner waters, Okay? And don't get so carried away in the intensity and the heat and the emotion that you lose your judgment, okay, your wisdom. Emotional wisdom is your ability to feel deeply, but not get lost in that feeling. So be very discerning. Don't settle. Don't go after the low-hanging fruit. You're going to meet somebody that is aligned with you on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes. You're not going to settle for something that is just like, well, I want to get married so bad that I'm just going to pick this person over here because it's better than nothing, right? No, you're holding out for what is really going to be super, super abundance. This is happiness, 9 of Cups. So yes, I think you're going to meet your equal, and you are going to find true happiness on every plane of being, in every dimension of your life. This is a union that's going to be very, very satisfying. Okay? And you're going to know when you feel it. I think that's a really important part. Don't confuse the feelings. You know, when something is working, you're going to know it. And this is how good life can feel. So don't settle for anything. Don't settle for anything less. All right. You have the Ace of Wands here as well, which is really this kind of concentration. It is your ability to focus. I think that, you know, when you do find who you feel to be the right person, it's kind of like you're going to feel okay, kind of like to stop looking. But make sure you trust that vibe. Your intuition is really the name of the game here. With the 2 queens that we have, you really got to trust your intuition here, because you have that independence. You have your own life. You don't need to settle for somebody that doesn't really vibe with you. Okay? But I think you are going to meet somebody very soon, and I think it's going to really be immediate sparks, chemistry right away. Okay? All right, now moving on. This is kind of fun, isn't it? I like this. This is good. Our next question is the Yazzle Dazzle, and that question is go or no go? I like that one because of how vague it is, right? Go or no go? Well, let's see. See if we could do this as a yes-no, right? We could blink once for yes, twice for no. For a go or no go. I feel like we might get a little more details out of it, yeah. Ooh, 5 of Wands. So obviously we're wrestling with that idea, right? We're wrestling with the options. Do I go or do I not go? How much do I strive? How much do I yield? Right? Because a 5, it's right in the middle of the gas pedal. It's like, do I accelerate more or do I let off the gas? The 5 of Wands is the 5-fingered hand. Do I reach for it or do I wait for it to come to me? Do I go or do I no go? Yeah. So this pretty much represents the question, right? And obviously, if you're asking me the question, you're wrestling with that idea. Do I do it or do I not do it? Yeah. Let's keep going here. And we have the 5 of Cups, sure. And I think the disappointment, the potential for being disappointed, the potential for failure, or the potential for any kind of a letdown. See, disappointment is when I expect there to be something and it's not there. So we're expecting, don't forget our anchor, our Princess of Pentacles. So we're expecting a harvest. Okay, whatever this is that you're considering to go or no go, you're expecting there to be some kind of positive benefit for you, right? I mean, you're thinking that, okay, if I go, is it going to be a good thing? Or is it going to be better if I don't do it? And so it feels like there's obviously there's obviously a worry that this might not work out. Okay? I don't think this is a moral question. I don't think this is like, does virtue say I should do this or should I not do that? I think is like, is it going to pay off or not? Am I going to be happy or sad about this outcome? So I don't know if this is physically a move or if this is a go or no go on an investment or go or no go on perhaps literally like a trip or some kind of travel. And I think you're wondering if when you get there, if you're going to like the landscape. If I go, is it going to be a beautiful environment or am I going to be disappointed now I'm stuck in this hotel with these people I don't like? Go or no go. It's like my wife and I talking about maybe we should take a cruise one day. I've always wanted to take an Alaskan cruise. And my wife is saying, I don't want to be stuck on a ship with a bunch of strangers. And I say, yeah, I know, but it just sounds fun, right? So I'm expecting it to be fun, Alaska cruise, cold weather, nice. My wife is saying it's going to be miserable. We're not going to like it. And so I'm kind of feeling like you're expecting it to not be that great. So I feel like you're already leaning toward no-go. Okay? We've got a Four of Wands too, which is, to me, it's a redecorating card. It's Venus in Aries. How can we be more sure of getting what we want out of this situation? You have the Moon card, Princess of Wands, and the Death card. I think the Death card is kind of here to say, go or no go, it doesn't really matter, right? Because the river is flowing, how it's going to flow. Your life is evolving, how it's going to evolve. But the Princess of Wands is kind of saying, like, we're curious, so we might as well go. And even if it's scary, even if we're going to take a risk, even if we're going into that dark, scary forest of that Moon card, why not just do it anyway? Because you are perhaps expecting a bad time, okay? You're expecting some kind of misery or disappointment. But what if this is just your own bias? What if you get here and it's like, oh my gosh, this is the Empress. This is so much harvest. This is so much fruit that I don't even know what to do with it all. This is the best thing I've ever done. I can't believe that I was ever, kind of worried, right? Because this is disappointment. This is a fight, and this is disappointment. I think you're expecting it to be a big challenge, perhaps like a lot of work. But is there going to be any reward? All work, no play. I don't know if I like that arrangement, okay? But I think with the Four of Wands, too, it's kind of like saying if you go, you can always come home if you don't like it, right? So where are you going where you feel like once you get there, you're going to be trapped? Well, maybe if you're on a cruise ship, you're going to have to wait the 7 or 10 days or whatever before you can go home again. So in a way, you are kind of trapped. But the Four of the Tarot is always impermanence. All of the fours remind us that nothing lasts forever. This is a lesson in impermanence. So the way I'm reading this is that you should go. And if you don't like it, you know that it's not going to last forever and you can come back or you can undo it or you can go somewhere else. Now, I don't know if this is literally about travel or about you taking the new job or taking the class or starting jujitsu or whatever you're doing or getting into the relationship. You can always undo it. Okay, there's not a lot of things in this world that we get into that we can't somehow get ourselves out of. Now, maybe part of that is like, don't do anything permanent. The Princess of Wands here likes to experiment, doesn't she? She likes to dabble in stuff. So this could be an energy that says, go, but go carefully. Go, but make sure you have an out. Okay? Go, but don't sign your life away yet. See how you like it first. Dip your toe in the fire, and see if it works. See if you like it. And if you don't, then you no-go. But you should go. Otherwise, you're going to be wondering for the rest of your life whether you should have go or not, or not, And so the Princess of Wands is very excited about going into the dark, scary forest. The Moon card is really, it is that unknown. It's a doorway that's just black. I can't see what's on the other side of it. I don't know what it's going to be. So Spirit is trying to remind you that you're not going to know until you go. So you might as well go. But try to go in such a way that if you really don't like it when you get there, you can ungo. You can uncommit. Okay? And maybe that doesn't make sense given the particular circumstances. You didn't really give me a lot of details. So, I don't know if this is like, should I join the army or not? Right? Well, once you do that, you kind of are locked in, right? You can't really undo that once you do it. But maybe it's saying like, go and get like some kind of a tour, or ask for more details, or like, do something similar that might give you a taste of what it feels like. That's the Princess of Wands recommendation. Experiment with it in a way that is non-committal, but will show you whether or not, it seems like a good idea. It'll give you a little bit more experience with it, okay? The Moon card is literally saying you have to go into it because it's such a mystery now. We all want to know how it works out. So I really hope you'll come back and you'll share whether you go or not, and how it is, okay? But this is uncertainty, and it's scary. And I think that you are pushing yourself into something that feels worrisome. Like you don't know how it's going to turn out. It could be great. It could be not so great. But if you don't do it, you're going to wonder for the rest of your life whether this was the big opportunity for you. Okay? And then the Death card, of course, is just change. Slow and steady over the course of time. And I think that because this is something that you're unsure of, because there's obviously some kind of trepidation or hesitation, it's kind of a good thing that you go and do it. But again, I don't know the details. You have to be responsible for yourself and for your future and your well-being. Don't do anything dangerous. Don't be reckless. Be responsible for yourself. But if this is something that can lead to more growth and more evolution, even if it is challenging, maybe you go do it. Yeah. I think there's going to be a greater benefit than you realize to you doing this. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going here. Let's leave that card up there. Let me know in the comments if everybody is kind of vibing with this style of reading. I'm not going to do every reading like this, obviously, but I think for the collective readings, it's kind of fun. I feel like this would be really nice to do live, where I can just I have to figure out a way where I can see your comments and questions in the chat. I got to ask Lenore how to do it. That way I can read more of your questions and try to answer more questions. I only picked 4 questions for today. The last question of our reading today is from R. Malazzo. I would like to know if I will be watching my new grandchild or going to Florida. I like either or questions. So, watching the grandchild or going to Florida. Well, 10 of Pentacles. This feels like everything, right? This doesn't feel like either or. It feels like, why can't we do all of the above? Okay. But this is also a card of legacy. This is also a card of what kind of ancestor are we going to be? Yeah. What is the long-term goal? What is the long-distance vision that we have? When you imagine your future in 5 years from now, or a month, or whatever, 1 year from now, when you visualize, close your eyes right now, visualize your future. What do you see? You got your pets, your plants, your people. What's going on around you? Visualize Florida. Visualize watching your new grandchild. Which one made you smile? Which one made you smile the biggest, right? The ear-to-ear smile. If you can't do both, at the same time, maybe you can't watch your grandchild in Florida. Can you watch the grandchild go to Florida later? Florida will be Florida for a while, I'm sure. Florida, yeah, it'll be there, right? But the grandchild, it's only going to be a child for a while. So the Ten of Pentacles really is us thinking about the long term and thinking of like my pets, my plants, my people, my legacy, my family, the stability, the security of my family. Maybe you're thinking Florida, save money. I don't know if it's cheaper out there or whatever, if it's nicer weather. You know, there are reasons to go to Florida. A lot of people do. I've never been. But I think that as you look into your future, you obviously think Florida is a good place for you, okay? And it may have a lot of the benefits that you need for your wealth. That's what this card is. Long-term security, okay? This is also the card, though, of family, you know? This is maybe, I don't know if you're going to Florida, if you're thinking of retiring there or just vacationing there, if you're moving your home there or your business is there, but this is your long-term goals. And so, well, we need some more cards. But I'm wondering if maybe we need to do things in a different order. Let's find out what other cards we get here. Yeah. The balance. Oh, yeah. This is hard. This is a hard one, right? Because the Libra energy is saying, which one do you value more? What's more important to you, Florida or watching your grandchild? And I know I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm sorry. But it's kind of like we have to assign, if we have to choose, and I think that is the first thing that you need to ask yourself. Do you have to choose? Are you being forced to pick one over the other? Is there an ultimatum? Is there a dichotomy here that is legit? And it's like, I either go to Florida or I watch my new grandchild. Whose choice is it? Is it your choice or somebody else's choice? Okay. Is it your choice or somebody else's choice? And why? And, you know, and if it is somebody else's choice, how is that working? How does somebody else get to choose that for you, right? Nine of Swords. Which option is going to give you the most regret? To me, honestly, I feel like the Nine of Swords is this pain of separation. That when you're weighing the options here, if, again, I'm assuming you have to do one or the other, because it's your words, not mine. You said or. Will I be doing this or that? I would like to say yes, and we're doing both, right? Both and, but it's or. So this is obviously the or card, right? Because it's this or this. It's grandchild watching or Florida living or visiting or whatever. As you're weighing those options, which one feels like that pain of separation is greater? If you stay and watch your grandchild, how much pain are you going to feel being separated from Florida? If you're in Florida, pina colada and I don't know, whatever else, humidity, how much are you going to be feeling the pain of separation from watching the grandchild? Okay? And again, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I didn't pick these cards. Okay? So it really is that idea with that Nine of Swords. How much are we going to hurt? Okay? And I think that is, I mean, yeah, unfortunately, that's the reality. The Hierophant is asking you what's more important to you. What's the important thing? Maybe Florida is massively important because, yes, that's where your home is. You're going to retire there. That's where you can afford to live. Maybe you have property over there already. Maybe this is the one chance you get to go there, or whatever the case is. So it probably is very important. Otherwise, I don't think you would have asked me the question. The Hierophant is asking what is sacred to you. Okay. The Hierophant is also kind of telling you that, look, you don't have to do what you think is the right thing. You don't have to do what you think other people are going to expect you to do. You have to be honest. You have to search for your own inner guide and ask, what is it that I really care about? Maybe watching the grandchild isn't all that important to you. And you're saying, Florida is where I really need to be. Maybe it's the other way around. Okay, maybe Florida can wait a couple years. The Hierophant is really asking you to be the judge, asking you to decide. Now, the Princess of Swords is you asking the question. This is you. This is you feeling like you either don't have all the information you need to answer the question, or you feeling like you don't want to have the responsibility of making the decision and you want it to be left to somebody else. Okay? Because this feels like somebody who's not really confident in deciding. There's a really big contrast between, let's say, the Libra energy, the adjustment card, and the Hierophant with our Princess of Swords. And I think the Eight of Cups here is you not wanting to disappoint anybody. I feel like you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, I think you want to do both and you want to do them equally. And so you're trying to leave it up to somebody else, or leave it up to fate, or leave it up to a coin flip, or leave it up to your boss, maybe transferring you to Florida and, okay, made the decision for me, right? I think honestly you need to make the decision based on what's more important to you and what you need for your life, for your happiness, your health and wealth, your future. Okay? Not in a selfish way, though. Not in an ego way. You may need to go to Florida for business reasons or health reasons or financial reasons. But if you care about watching your new grandchild and being around for the first years, he said new grandchild, so I'm assuming the grandchild's very young. Can you spend time there first watching the grandchild for whatever, a few years or something, and a couple years or even 6 months or whatever the time frame is. And then maybe some other options or other opportunities will present themselves to you, or you can figure out some other ideas. You can think about other pathways that might work, other options, so that you can have the best of both worlds. And you won't have to feel that I'm choosing between, I want to choose the grandchild. I think, if I had to be honest with you, I think you're going to be watching your grandchild. But I think you're also not expected to miss out on the benefits of Florida. I think you're going to find a way to do both. It may be that you're going to have to do them in a different order, or you're going to have to make some sort of sacrifices and compromises. You're going to have to figure out the balance somehow. Maybe it's Florida most of the time, watching the grandchild other parts of the time. Maybe it's traveling back and forth. Maybe there's an option for everybody to go to Florida. Maybe there's an option for you to postpone Florida for a little while, etc. Okay? Because I feel like you don't have to pick one or the other. They're not mutually exclusive. All right. Anyway, thank you for your question. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the reading. We're not going to do an extended reading today, I don't think, but let me know in the comments if you think we should continue this format in future collective readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.